So, welcome to this interview session from Scandinavian Chemotech, where we will talk to representatives of the company from different levels of the organization and have them answering questions that we have gathered from our shareholder community. With me today, I have Danny Nesrallah, who is Head of Business Development North America for Vetiqure, which is a subsidiary to Chemotech focusing on animal health. Welcome, Danny.
Good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
All is well. All is well.
Yeah. I was thinking that you could start by just giving a brief introduction of yourself and how you ended up at Vetiqure.
Sure. Um, excuse me. Back in 2013, I was approached by one of our competitors in Europe who connected with me through LinkedIn and asked if I'd be interested in becoming the representative head for North America, starting with Canada. So after doing some due diligence and actually visiting some of these manufacturers in our space of electroporation, I definitely saw an avenue where there was a need for this type of technology in Canada. So I started my own company where we were the representative and distributor for one of the competitors. That lasted about 4 years. And unfortunately, when COVID hit, our contract was taken back by the manufacturer due to a certain clause in the contract. During this time, I remained close with Mr. Mohan Frick, the CEO and co-founder of Chemotech. And our paths crossed a few times during COVID. And I had informed them what is happening, what had happened. So we decided to meet in Dubai and further our discussions, which led to me coming on board as head of business development for North America for Vetiqure.
And when was this?
I'd say it was in July of 2021.
Okay. I will dive into the questions here so that we get going. First question: from what you have seen of treatment results from Vetiqure, what is different compared to the technology you worked with before?
Great question. TSE is a developer as a new class of EP to improve the clinical performance and reduce the risk of distractions and burns as an effect of the older device that is based on the static non-dynamic therapy. TSE is not therefore just another device. It's almost an entire new treatment niche in the oncology sector. Two, we are experiencing a significant amount of less necrosis, extremely portable. It's like a carry-on bag that you can literally take onto the plane with you. Very user-friendly. The recovery time is a lot quicker using the Vetiqure device. More technology advanced and more technology savvy. Along with that, we are a hands-on company from a technical and clinical support team's perspective. And I mean, no disrespect by this, but it's hard to compare a Honda Civic to a Mercedes. There's again a significant difference between what I've used and what we're using now. Vetiqure is based on experience of design of the IQ Wave, and the IQ Wave is the Chemotech human device, which is obviously being used for human cancer. Vetiqure has been optimized for standard ESOP and JOLV treatment protocol. Here's a big one. Vetiqure does not harm healthy, untreated tissue areas, which we have now experienced in the last two cases with one of our accounts here in Florida. And Vetiqure minimizes the risks of unintentional ablation of tissue and irreversible ECT. So there's quite a significant difference between what I was representing and what we are representing now.
Mm. And how do you plan to grow and develop Vetiqure, and where do you see the company in say 5 years?
In order to grow a company, the company needs a foundation. It needs a team. It needs KOLs, master subject experts, and it needs a strong sales force. So our plan is hopefully in the next, I'd say 24 months, to have aligned ourselves with one of the distributors that we're currently evaluating now, which I'm hoping that will come to fruition in the next 30 to 60 days. And hopefully a national sales rep in one of every state in the United States.
And what makes you the most qualified person for this job?
As I outlined before, I've been in the ECT space since 2013. I have a strong understanding when it comes to, multinational and multicultural business acumen. Over 20 years of international business development. And I have physically visited our competitors. So I know where the pros and cons are when it comes to our competitors. And my life has been business development and putting solid teams together, coaching and training them for success.
Describe how you balance finding new customers with retaining existing ones.
Retaining new clients, my approach right now are direct mailers, physical direct mailers, where we're literally putting an envelope and a business card in an envelope and mailing it out to the sites with a handwritten name at the front, because they see that as something as personal, and that the person who is sending this took the time out to actually personalize it with ink. That's something we learned in the past. Physical clinic visits. I try to be in the field anywhere between 2 to 3 times a week, meaning I'm actually popping in, meeting the vet and hospital managers, asking to set up lunch and learns. SEMs, social media is key, and CRM integration, and visibility. There's an old saying, out of sight, out of mind. If you just sell and run away and disappear, they will forget about you. So my big thing has always been visibility with your current accounts, checking up on them once or twice a week and making sure they understand that we're here for them, that it wasn't a sale and bye-bye. That's not the way we work.
Will you be able to produce a sales process for our company, and how would that look like?
Our sales processing system is basically 7 steps. 7 steps I've used in the past, and 7 steps that have worked. And obviously, 1 is prospecting, 2, qualification of the account and the client. 3 is your demonstration, physically being there and demonstrating how the device actually works with our little potato friend. We take a little potato and we go to the clinic and we do our demo. Evaluation, needs analysis, SWOT analysis, of course. Negotiating what is the made-to-measure price that is appropriate for that clinic. Because as you know, there's some clinics that have high volume, some clinics have low volume. So there is times where we have to tweak our approach when it comes to pricing. And that's another asset that we have as a company, which gives us a little bit of wiggle room. Obviously closing the deal and nurturing the account. So nurturing goes back to never being out of sight and never out of mind. Always constantly, constant follow-up, constant visibility, constant follow-up, constant visibility.
Next question is how many team members can you manage at a time? You mentioned the distribution partners here, but how many people can you actually manage?
Managing 100 sales reps is not practical. It's the quality of time you put into the management of a team. So in my past, I've been part of teams where I've been asked to help manage and assist teams anywhere between 20 to 45 to 60 agents. So to be realistic, let's say anywhere between 30 to 40 sales reps. That's given them my quality time and attention. Because everyone has a certain niche, everyone has a certain weakness, and everyone has a certain strength, and you have to adapt to that. Every individual, you have to adapt to their strengths and weaknesses.
Next question refers to Florida Wild, and having Florida Wild as a reference clinic, is that a suitable strategy?
At the moment, yes. And the reason being is because Florida Wild, we've been fortunate enough to have landed Florida Wild that comes with an amazing team of nurse practitioners, vet techs, and an amazing doctor that's currently using our Vetiqure device, who is beyond floored and excited and happy with the results she's seeing from the last 2 cases. And Florida Wild, Jonathan, is part of a much bigger organization. And that organization owns and operates over 350 clinics in the United States alone. 350 clinics. By this time next year, they'll be at 450s from what I understood. And the positive aspect with Florida Wild is, again, Dr. Pamela Schrager has really gone to bat for us with her medical directors, the higher ups. They've actually visited the clinic. They've actually seen the cases, read the cases, follow up on everything that's happening. And from what I'm hearing from her, they're very happy. And I'm hoping that from what she's quoted to us, that by this time next year, we should have Vetiqure devices in, I'm hoping, 10 to 12 clinics under the Florida Wild banner that's owned by Florida Wild.
Next question is quite specific, but according to Dr. Brooke Fowler, only one clinic in Colorado uses electrochemotherapy. When is Vetiqure in Colorado? Which state will buy the next unit, do you think?
That is true. ECT is in Colorado, and we foresee the next states coming into play: North Carolina, Seattle, and more than 3: Chicago, New Orleans, and Pennsylvania. And I'd say 3 of them are probably going to be universities outside of the states that I just mentioned.
Final question then. In your opinion, what makes Vetiqure a better option for treating tumors than other alternatives on the market?
Well, to add from the first question that you mentioned, the list that I went through, the advantages of Vetiqure, but I asked Dr. Pamela Schrager to help me answer that question, and she quoted the following, in quote, "I have never used the other devices." When she means other devices, meaning competitors and any other device that would treat the tumors that she's treating now. But reports suggest that other devices cause more damage to normal tissue, which we know is true. Whereas TSC spares normal tissue, which we know is true as a result of the 2 cases she just treated that we've seen in a report. Reducing morbidity. If a tumor is operable, that is typically the best option. But many are not operable and are not exceptionally responsive to the traditional chemotherapy route. A great example is an oral tumor or tumors in the distal limb. TSC provides an excellent treatment option for those patients. Radiation may be an option, but it can be more expensive and can create more damage to normal tissue. Radiation in veterinary patients is generally less available and further away from most. We have much higher compliance with the therapy we can provide in our hospital, as quote.
Danny, thank you very much for taking the time here, and good luck with setting up the distribution network and landing new clients going forward.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, for your time. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.